This page is about context clues. Context clues are when we don't really know what a word means. So we use the situation or all of the things going on in the passage to help us to understand what a word or phrase means. We're going to use context clues to find what's going on in the passage and what word or phrase would be the most appropriate to use in the blanks on each of these questions. Number 1. Ouch, cried Amy as she bit down on a carrot. Anytime Amy ate something really hot or really hard, her back tooth would blank. She needed to go to the dentist. What word should go in that blank? Would we say her back tooth would shine, her back tooth would ache, or her back tooth would wiggle? Now remember, the really important word or phrases that will help us to find the answer are ouch, which means she probably doesn't like the way it feels. And then at the end of this passage it says she needed to go to the dentist. Now if my teeth are really shiny, I probably don't need to go to the dentist. And if my teeth are really wiggly, I don't really need to go to the dentist either. At least not if I'm a kid. If my tooth is wiggly, then I might need to go to the dentist. Context clues number 2. Dan did not like being home blank. Even though his mom was only at Aunt Jane's house next door, it made him very nervous to be by himself. Next time, Dan wanted to go with Mom. What goes in that blank? Is it A, at night, B, alone, or C, either? Dan did not like being home at night. Dan did not like being home alone. Or Dan did not like being home either. Use the rest of the passage to figure out which of those Dan doesn't like. Context clues number 3. Bravo, bravo, shouted the crowd as they went wild with blank. Chelsea's class just finished a fabulous performance of Jack and the Beanstalk, and the audience couldn't stop clapping. Did the crowd go wild with applause? Go wild with anger? Or go wild with screaming? What usually happens after a performance when people are clapping and shouting, bravo? Context clues number 4. Mario made 24 snowman-shaped cookies for the winter festival. Then the mayor asked him to make another blank of cookies. This set of cookies needed to have white icing and clear sprinkles to look like snowflakes. Did the mayor ask him to make another dozen of cookies? Another delicious of cookies? Or another batch of cookies? End punctuation. Listen to the poem. To the top. We're climbing and climbing. The trail is so high that I think we'll be climbing right up to the sky. I want it to end and my poor feet to stop. Oh, when will we reach the mountaintop? The poem is by Sandra Liatzos. How does the poem make you feel? What kinds of sentences does the user write? One way I can tell what kind of sentences the user is writing is to look at the end punctuation. Now, when I look at the ends of these sentences, I see a period, an exclamation point, a period, and a question mark. How do you think the author of this poem is using these different kinds of sentences to show emotions or show feelings in this poem? Let's start at the beginning. We're climbing and climbing. The trail is so high that I think we'll be climbing right up to the sky. So in the first sentence, she's telling what's happening, but in the second sentence, she's showing some emotion about how she feels about it. I think we'll be climbing right up to the sky. That exclamation point tells us that she's excited. I want it to end and my poor feet to stop. That's a telling sentence. What she's saying is that her feet hurt. She's maybe getting kind of tired of climbing the mountain. Oh, when will we reach the mountain top? While her feet hurt and she's getting tired, she starts to ask questions about when she's gonna get to the top. It's kind of like when you say, "Are we there yet?" That's the way that she feels at this point in the poem. So let's read the poem one more time with a little more expression and emotion, now that we understand how the writer is feeling when she writes this poem. To the top. We're climbing and climbing. The trail is so high that I think we'll be climbing right up to the sky. I want it to end and my poor feet to stop. Oh, when will we reach the mountain top? Figuring out how the author feels by looking at what kinds of sentences she's using really helps us to read with more expression. All sentences end with an end mark. Sometimes we call these punctuation marks. A telling sentence ends with a period. For example, it is a sunny day. An asking sentence ends with a question mark. For example, do you like sunny days? A sentence that shows strong feeling ends with a exclamation point. Sunny days are great. Glue the end marks by the sentences. It's okay for you to write the punctuation marks if you don't have scissors and glue to cut out at home. If you'd rather just write the punctuation marks, that's okay. The first sentence says, we hike. It's just telling you what's happening. Is it raining? That one seems to be asking a question. What kind of punctuation mark do we use for a question sentence? Can we stop? That also seems to be asking something. I am soaked. Now that's not asking a question, and it is telling, but I think if I were telling someone that I'm soaked, I would probably have a lot of strong feelings in my voice. I think we should use a different kind of punctuation mark for this one. This sheet says, find the value of each group of base 10 blocks. Base 10 blocks are a tool that we use in our classroom to help build numbers. These long rods are worth 10, and the small cubes are worth 1. Each of these rods is made up of 10 of the small cubes. So when we look right here, we have 1, 2 10s. I'm going to write that right here. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ones. So if I have 2 10s and 9 ones, that means my total is 29. Follow along with this same formula to figure out the numbers represented by each of these other questions, each of these other sets. There's a front and back. Let's do one more as an example. I'm going to skip over to number 5. How many 10s do we have? I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to write that here. So I have 7 10s, and that's worth how much? How much is 7 10s worth? 70. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1s. 5 1s is just worth 5. So if I have 70 in 10s and 5 in 1s, I have 75 total. You can count them and write the answers just like this. Or, if it's helpful, you can write how many 10s, or what number is built from this many 10s. And then you can write this. We call this the expanded form of this number. 70 plus 5 equals 75. 75 is the same as 70 plus 5. This asks you to draw each number in base 10. So we're going to draw the same way that we just solved those problems, but we're doing it backwards. This number has a 2 in the tens place and a 3 in the ones place. So the number is 23. They drew this by drawing 2 rods, which are worth 10, and 3 squares, which are worth 1 each. I'm going to come down to this number, 36, and draw a representation. I'll do a few of these. For 36, I need 3 10s. I see that I have a 3 in the tens place. So I'm going to draw 3 rods. Oh, it's a little sloppy, but you know what? That's okay. I can tell that it's a rod. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 rods, which are worth 10 each. So I've got my 30. Now let's look at this 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to stop there. I have 3 10s for the 3 in the tens place. And I have 6 1s for the 6 that's in the ones place. So my number is 36. 36. This page asks you to write the expanded form, just like we did on this page. So we're going to be writing how many 10s plus how many 1s equals the number that we're looking for. So here we're going to count our 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 10s. Now I can't write a 6 here because if I wrote 6 plus my number of 1s, then I would get a different answer. So how much is 6 10s worth? 60. 6 10s is worth 60. Plus, I need to count my 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. 8 1s is worth 8. 60 plus 8 equals 68. Do the same process to answer the rest of the questions on this page.